Hello guys, welcome back to TFD. Today, I just have to show you something that really blew my mind. Something that perfectly captures the Caitlyn Clark effect on the next generation of female hoopers. Now, I've said this before in a few videos, but today I wanted to take a deeper dive into what this really means. Because the more I look into it, the more it becomes clear Caitlyn Clark has done something that nobody else in women's basketball history has ever done. Now, when I say Caitlyn Clark has changed the game, I don't just mean the wnba, although of course that's true too. I'm talking about how she's changed the perception of women's basketball as a whole. The way she plays, the energy she brings, the logo threes, the confidence, it all combined to create something magical that pulled millions of new fans into a league that, let's be honest, a lot of people didn't even know existed before she arrived. You know exactly what I'm talking about. For years, you'd see those street interviews where people would say, yeah, women should be paid the same as men. But then the interviewer would ask, okay, can you name a WNBA player? And they'd go silent. Or they'd ask, does your city have a WNBA team? And the person wouldn't even know. That was the reality. People supported the idea of women's basketball, but didn't actually engage with it. But Caitlyn Clark changed that dynamic overnight. She didn't just bring attention, she brought investment. She got people watching games, buying jerseys, learning team names, and following storylines. Suddenly, Indiana Fever games became appointment viewing. ESPN was broadcasting record-breaking ratings. It wasn't just basketball fans anymore, it was everyone. Families, kids, even NBA players were tuning in to see what Caitlyn Clark would do next. Now, I've always said this. The future of women's basketball should be incredibly bright, but only if she's allowed to lead it. Because here's the truth. Caitlyn Clark just wrapped up her second professional season. She's only 23. That's insane when you think about the impact she's already had. And while the WNBA still has a lot of internal issues, from the leadership to the culture to how they treat their own stars, the grassroots effect that Caitlyn is having is undeniable. Think about it. Right now, all those 10, 12, 14-year-old girls watching her pull up from the logo, those are the future stars of the game. They're in gyms across the country right now, practicing her moves, copying her style, dreaming of being the next Caitlyn Clark. That's what real legacy looks like. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, sometimes a generation. It reminds me of how sports evolve because of one revolutionary athlete. Michael Jordan made every kid want to dunk. Steph Curry made every kid believe they could shoot from half court. Serena Williams made girls believe they could dominate tennis with power and passion. And now, Caitlyn Clark has made every young hooper believe that they can be confident, skilled, fearless, and unapologetically great, no matter who's watching. Now, I found this amazing clip that I'm going to show while we talk. Just watch these young players. You didn't see this 5 years ago. These girls are pulling up from deep, working on their handles, celebrating after shots, playing with swagger, that Caitlyn Clark swagger. They're not afraid to show emotion, to compete, to lead. You can see her influence in every crossover, every jump shot, every smile. And that's the beauty of it. Caitlyn Clark might be battling the politics and the physicality of the WNBA right now, but her impact is already unstoppable. She's not just changing games, she's changing minds. She's redefining what it means to be a woman in sports. So yeah, the WNBA's future may have its issues, but women's basketball? That future looks brighter than ever, all because of one player who refused to just fit in. Caitlyn Clark didn't wait for change, she became it. And the next generation is watching closely, ready to follow her lead.
These young kids and where they are shooting from with this basketball is absolutely insane, and they're making it look easy. There's the drive, step back to the left. Now I'm just going to pull up and I'm going to chuck it from the next town over. Nope, you're not going to come out and guard me. That's fine. I'm going to shoot from near midcourt like this one is. That is basically even with the bottom of the circle on that one. I'm going to step around look at this, folks. This is nuts. This is nuts, and they're making it look easy. There's the step to the left, Boom, nice and easy. And these are all the players inspired by Caitlyn Clark who are going to get a little 39 feet. I mean, that was almost half court. That was inside the circle or, further away, not inside it. But it would be inside it if she was straight up. So it's actually probably even further away. I think that was a buzzer beater, so she had to. But this is absolutely insane. You didn't see any of this before Caitlyn Clark. And now these players are trying to make it routine. And think about how difficult, just like Caitlyn Clark, how difficult it is to guard any of these players. Now it spreads everything out. And you hope, now we're not seeing it, they're showing this video for a reason, obviously, because this is the most iconic part about Caitlyn Clark's game that got everyone's attention initially. And that was, of course, the logo 3 and the insane distances from which she would shoot the basketball. But I'm going to guess, being that they're so inspired by Caitlyn Clark, that you are seeing this, they've watched a lot of Caitlyn Clark, that means they're inspired by her whole game, which means even though this is about that logo 3 and that iconic shot, you're also going to get the players that are going to pay attention to Caitlyn's one-on-one and Caitlyn's handling and Caitlyn's dribbling and how that's used for a purpose, unlike so many of the NBA players nowadays who just dribble to dribble. And then, of course, the other iconic thing, or it's becoming iconic now with Caitlyn Clark, is the kind of passes that she shows and her basketball IQ.
And here's the thing, folks. You are about to witness a generation coming up that is going to completely revolutionize women's basketball. I mean, the game as we know it today is going to look completely unrecognizable a few years from now. The way these young athletes are playing, the way they are developing, it's unlike anything we've seen before. And the vets who have been holding on because the league seems to tolerate or even encourage older players sticking around, well, they are going to have to make room. They simply cannot compete with this new breed. This is where the conversation around officiating becomes so important. For years, the league allowed games to be extremely physical. There was a reason for it, and it wasn't just because they wanted to see toughness. No, if the officiating had been loose and let the skill speak for itself, everyone would have seen just how uneven the talent was across the league at times. Some of the skill levels weren't quite there. But when the games were super physical, the league could highlight grit, toughness, and determination instead. Players battling through bumps, bruises, scrapes, and rough plays made it feel intense and competitive, even if the fundamentals sometimes weren't what they should have been. Think about it. You'd see players constantly jostling, chasing each other down the court, trying to assert dominance. Brittany Grinder-style energy, players almost chasing each other to get in your face, was normalized. It wasn't about the pure game. It was about endurance, resilience, and physicality. But here's the thing. The incoming generation doesn't need that crutch. They can flat out play. They can shoot from anywhere, handle the ball, and execute plays that would have seemed impossible not too long ago. And once these young players hit the league, you're going to see it. The game is going to transform before your eyes. Yes, this change takes time. You can't just wake up one day and have a full league of generational talent ready to dominate. These young athletes have to grow, develop, hone their skills, move through high school, go to college, and then make the leap into professional basketball. Whether that's the WNBA as we know it today, or some new league that takes its place. And honestly, I don't even know exactly how that will play out. But I do know this. Watching it unfold is going to be incredible. The evolution of the game will open up endless possibilities, especially when it comes to spacing, movement, and shooting. When the physicality is dialed back, not the contact, because basketball is a contact sport and it always will be, but when the unnecessary, restrictive physicality is minimized, the freedom of movement these players will enjoy is staggering. Imagine players able to move, cut, and shoot without having to constantly fight for every inch. Imagine them launching shots from crazy angles and distances, pulling off moves that today might seem impossible. That's what the next generation is bringing.
And it's stunning. And here's the kicker, the shooting. Oh, the shooting. Every single one of these young players has range and accuracy that rivals and in many cases surpasses everyone in the current WNBA except maybe Caitlyn Clark. And that right there is the definition of generational change. Caitlyn Clark isn't just a fantastic player. She is redefining the game. She is changing it from the inside out. Not just from a fan perspective, where she's drawing massive attention and increasing the sport's popularity, but from a playing perspective. When you watch the women's game 5-10 years from now, it is going to be fundamentally different. So different that it will feel completely unrecognizable. And Caitlyn Clark is the reason why. Make no mistake, this transformation isn't about Caitlyn Clark plus Me Bounds or Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese, Alyssa Thomas, Paige Buckers, Dewana Bonner, Brianna Stewart, Kelsey Plum, or Nafisa Collier. It's not about partnerships or duos. This is about Caitlyn Clark as a singular force. Her style, her skill set, her approach to the game, that is what will drive the evolution of women's basketball in the coming years. It's Caitlyn Clark alone, and that's it. Period. Mic drop. End of story. Anyway, I'll leave it there for today. I really appreciate you checking out this video. I wanted to dive into this because it's exciting, it's inspiring, and it's a glimpse of what's coming. And with all the CBA talks and negotiations about to ramp up, the landscape is going to get even more interesting. This is just the beginning of a huge shift, and I, for one, cannot wait to watch it all unfold. So, here's what I need you to do. If you're as hyped as I am, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and join the conversation. The future of women's basketball is coming, and you're going to want to be here for every single moment of it. Caitlyn Clark isn't just playing. She's changing the game forever. And trust me, this ride is going to be unforgettable.